Yes, if you get pulled out of it.
Yeah,
And the only
so
bad thing about Omniing the Pango is if he does get a shield crash off, it is a little bit sad. That,
yeah.
and I think you get instantly stunned out of it. So it's a
Yep.
little bit scary if you
If you
just get
don't get the
bopped out of
kill.
it. Yeah.
All right, the troll. I mean, this is a great pick. Good matchup into the jug and a lane win against the Tidehunter.
Yep, just a perfect pick. And if you aren't able to kill him during that Omni Slash, there is the big turn potential. We usually see it with that Basher timing, where Troll just starts to undoubtedly win that matchup, and there's not much you can do. It'll really be up to the supporting cast. And now they're looking for a last pick Z-Freak hero on Penta Ace, it feels like.
Yeah, unless they're potentially running the Void Spirit under the 4, but I can't imagine that's gonna be the case. It's not as really a Z-Freak hero. We don't see him play it that often. I don't doubt his ability on it. Z-Freak can probably play almost any hero in this game, but at the same time, it does put them in a situation where they might start to lack lockdown or really aggression in this off lane. It could do well against the puck though. If it ends up being, if they like those, they have last pick. So if they see SG Esports run the puck 5, you probably could still run the Void Spirit in the 4 and offer the same amount of harassment as opposed to picking something like the Tuskar. They banned the Enchantress. Okay.
And again, it harkens back to the puck. You don't know what KJ is playing. You don't know what 40R is playing just yet. At the same time, I feel like Penta Ace, if they SG need to ban Rubik, if they went Z-Freak last pick Rubik, I feel like he's going to be very extremely happy in this game.
Yeah,
He's
he
got
would.
quite the sick plays on that hero and Kunka ban. Okay.
So they're anticipating 4 position Void Spirit here. And I mean, the OD is one of those heroes that it's not like it's definitely been nerfed. It's kind of fallen a little bit out of favor, but against the Troll Warlord, you always have to be worried about OD. It is just such a hard game to play because you just constantly get astraled during your ult, or your astral is like the target you're trying to go on. But I look at the rest of the lineup from SG, and I feel like they have enough gap close to just run it OD, and he has no game. So I'm kind of surprised that they actually commit a ban for that one.
When they're anticipating both Ryoya heroes, and you still have the Storm Spirit, Penta Ace really, if they do want to for that Void, they can put heroes in a lot of different places. But we're also seeing we've got the Razor still in the pool, we've got the Bloodseeker still in the pool, and both of those heroes would be so effective in this game. Penta Ace can really take this in whatever direction they want, whereas SG, they just need to get 40R on a solid hero or KJ on a solid hero. But the 5 puck doesn't do much versus the Tidehunter. That's the only scary thing for them, I think, right now. But 1 second left.
Grimstroke.
Okay.
So it's going to be the mid puck, which gives them the ability to just take that Void Spirit mid. You want to make sure you have that favorable core matchup, and we're probably looking for Z-Freak Zero here.
And that's the matchup they just wanted to see. They wanted to clarify it, and once they see that, it isn't very scary, to be honest. SG Esports, well, they have very solid lanes. Penta Ace have a little bit stronger lanes, where even if you do run this Void Spirit 4, and they might not, they might just pick up the Rubik here, which I think they should. It causes a lot of the aggression from the Troll Warrior to sort of cease, especially with the Grimstroke. You just throw them back. You're not able to really get a guaranteed Ink Swell anytime. And really, again, he's a master of the spirits, that he could do whatever he wants, and he's not too afraid of really anything in this game. It's really just the Earth Spirit role and maybe the Grimstroke route, but even then, Void Spirit's one of the best spirits into the Grimstroke, where you put the Remnants down, you are constantly getting the damage block from the Resonant Pulse, and you just feel as you're one of the tankier spirits, especially with the way that they itemize nowadays.
Yeah. And you're just so elusive too. A lot of the other spirits rely on one specific spell to escape, right? You have multiple on this side of Void Spirit. And I would argue 3 of your 4 spells are escape spells if you need to use them. So it's very difficult to shut this hero down. They go for the Razor.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's a Ryoya Razor mid then.
And it makes complete sense. It's the hero that we see consistently banned second phase when you do pick up this Troll Warlord.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, did they run out of bans a little bit in that last phase? Of course, valuing the OD, even though it is sort of out of the meta or cycling out, it is a really safe pick, and it is a very big counter to the Troll, as you just put him under every single time he pops that ultimate. But now you've let this Razor through, and we see how highly teams value this Razor versus the Troll. We see it first phase sometimes. We see it as just an absolute deny pick. And now it's here. It's
just
something
in the
that
draft.
really gets to play against.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you've got to
I
be
think
pretty
it's
happy,
gonna be a
right?
struggle. Yeah, you've got to be very happy.
Overall, I will say SG Esports does have good lanes. That's the one thing that they do have going for them, that the Pango, as long as he doesn't misplay bottom, shouldn't really die to Fear and Moo. Mid lane matchup, the Razor trades, I mean, farms evenly against Puck. You just max the plasma field, right? It's really this off lane Tidehunter and Void Spirit, I think, is that's really going to struggle to Costabile's Troll Warlord. I don't think they really have a way to stop him from farming if you get caught too far out of position. A single rotation from Thelacore, which is very reasonable, could easily just spell disaster for them. So I think their lanes are good. It's really just going to come down to that mid-game pressure that they're going to be able to apply. Because both teams, they don't have a lot of like, there's like no necro builders. There's no, like not a lot of great tower push from both of these teams outside of like Healing Ward behind Jug and then like Costabile just shredding a tower by himself.
And you're right, they don't have that sort of necro combo that we see with the healing word so common, where he just comes mid with the cart and you're just able to push it out very easily. SG have incredible wave clear so far, and Penta Ace, they really need to kill you and then take your towers, and that's the way that they've sort of set themselves up. And if anyone, I think Theliacore has an incredibly free time. Whereas usually we see Z-Freak on these Clockworks, on these Rubiks, where he's really able to run at the enemy for and cause a lot of problems when they make rotations. I think if Rioya gets a little bit too ahead of himself, 40R can definitely punish him with this puck, as they've got so much magic damage on SG Esports. That's probably the strongest thing about their draft.
It's a good point. Yeah, they really do. We've made it, though. It's game 1 here today. The third day of playoffs here for the BTS Pro Series 5, and we've got SG Esports versus Penta Ace. It is an elimination series for those of you who are just tuning in. We've got Rioya going on the Razor mid lane, Fear taking his Juggernaut, Z-Freak on the Void Spirit, snaking on Tidehunter, and last but not least, we got Moo on the Witch Doctor. For SG Esports, we've got 40R taking Puck to the mid lane in that matchup, which will be very nice. KJ will be on Grimstroke, Thelacore on Earth Spirit, Tavo on his Pangolier, one of his absolute best heroes, so it's going to be a pleasure to watch that. And of course, Costabile will be on the Troll Warlord in that safe lane. Anything out of the ordinary so far? It looks like pretty standard lanes, exactly what we expected, right, ET?
Yep, and we always see this more or less now, where if you just want to get 2 lanes, you run the 5 bottom, you TP him top. It's exactly as planned. Nothing is out of the ordinary, at least so far. Some good vision placed. They really just want to scout as much as possible, but there's no real reason for them to rotate or do anything. I don't think that would really cause much effect in these lanes.
So they saw him cutting the trees there, and they're like, you know, kind of an odd place to cut trees unless you're trying to get extra ward vision. And so they're gonna gamble on it. I think KJ knows that they might have a ward there, so he is gonna go try and deward that high ground ward. That's a very smart play.
I mean, it's funny. I think
break.
Tavo also cut one of those trees.
Yeah, Tavo did too.
I think he saw Fear cutting him. He was like, "Oh, I want to cut a tree. I'm gonna get involved here," because I don't think Fear had enough time to cut 3 trees. So maybe Tavo, he's playing around, and it is a good ward. This is a perfect ward, if anything, to watch that rotation mid, and that's when it's going to get dangerous for Rioya. Whenever that puck is going to hit level 6, it's the timing that we used to talk about a lot more when Dream Coil was a slightly lower cooldown, but even still nerfed, it is one of the strongest spells in Dota. It's one of the easiest spells to make those rotations. It's up there with Mars Arena, where you just do it, you get a kill, and you need to keep on getting those kills. And that's the big thing with SG. And something I like about their lineup is that they do have that very strong 4-man, a lineup that can really rely without the troll. And it's going to give a lot of space to Costabile, and that's exactly the type of carry that he likes to play. He likes to show up fashionably late. He likes to farm his creeps. He doesn't like to stop farming his creeps and just keep on giving himself a very nice start.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how these lanes are going to unfold. Looks like they're just reconnecting, so we're going to jump back into the game here. I'm really curious if they actually get the D ward here. KJ pings it out. Oh, are they just going to use it to block the camp, maybe? Yeah, on the block there.
Yeah. It's a really nice block, as you are just going to be forcing your waves in with Tavo's Q with the swashbuckle, so you at least guarantee yourself level 2 or 3, and that's the sort of timing where you need to be careful if you're Moo on this Witch Doctor, as that's when they're going to turn on you. That's when they're going to wait for you to cast, try to get aggressive, and try to punish you. The bright side is that Fear has a relatively fair time. The only time he can really die is if he uses Blade Fury and it gets put on cooldown. As level 1, level 2 Blade Fury is pretty bad spell. It's 42, 34-second cooldown. It's a little bit difficult to lane if they can get a little bit of an advantage in the spot lane.
I'm going to keep my eyes down here. First hit crit. That feels pretty good.
Oh boy.
Fear is just doing so much damage.
I see Moo actually got greedy and it's going to work. He's got boots. And yeah, they're going to start creep cutting.
Yeah,
immediately.
They realize. I mean, the thing is, though, with boots first on Moo, he's going to do a ton of damage to Thelacor here. You can constantly follow up these auto attacks and try and force a roll.
And Snay top took a lot of damage.
Just off the mark with that stroke of fate. And I mean, look at this. He's able to force the roll and reset the lane. So he does pull back. So as long as Fear drags, which he does, we now have the creep lane in the jungle shenanigans, but honestly really favoring the side of Sad Boys because they don't lose it to the tower.
Yeah, and it will be a big wave pushing in. There's not much they can do about that part, especially with the large camp. Oh, he lost it a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he's going to bring it back now, but still, this feels pretty bad, I think, in missing the roll onto Moo. Oh, just barely out of range.
Yeah. 305 MS on each of them, so.
So you need to be careful. You really need to wait for your level 2, level 3 timings. As Thelacor, hasn't had that opportunity, but he's just trying to keep this lane blocked up. He knows that the only way that they can reset this is if they get the pull, and Tava's got a very nice creep wave pushing into his tower now.
Yeah, he does, and he's going to get a lot of solo experience here. Thanks to Thelacor kind of backing off, like triple ranged creep. A lot of this is going to come down to Fear trying to get some of these denies under the tower. It's going to be incredibly important. I mean, maybe
they're just going to try to body him.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe Moo just walks up and tries to kill him. I don't know. Maledict, Coconut, there's going to be the Blade Fury. Thelacor, that's dead. That's first blood going their way.
And that's what you need to be You need to be careful about Moo in these creep waves. And Fear, he is going to just run at you, but at the same time, Moo, he's going to get the D ward and he's going to be able to get this lane back under control. And Fear, again, there's no threat on him. He's feeling very safe in the spot lane. And then I think we're going to see Thelacor sort of give up and try to head to other lanes after he's able to get that level 2, level 3.
Oh my
as
gosh.
The other lanes are very easily ganked, but Rua's kind of running away mid.
Yeah, he is. I was saying, look at Tavo's CS now after that triple wave. He has near perfect CS this game.
Oh,
is he only missing one creep?
Yeah.
He's only missing one creep, right? Something like that.
It's so important, too, because you get this Orb of Corrosion out a little bit faster, a little bit sooner, and then Moo's life, it's over. It's so easy to make that play, and he's not getting punished for having to use these swashbuckles pretty much every single time to get range CS. There just isn't the damage there. And again, it's one of the reasons why we see heroes like Pango, like Mirana. You're just able to always get this XP. You're always able to make these plays. And it feels really good for Tavo. He's doing very nicely in this bottom lane.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people might look at Thelacor's death and be like, oh my God, Lamau, Earth Spirit fed. But at the end of the day, Tavo is level 4, 18 and 0. Fear is 3.5. So he is actually put himself in a really good position here on the Pangolier.
One way to look at it, if they weren't going to do that to Thelacor, they weren't able to do it to Tavo then. You don't have 2 spins. You had to use it to kill Thelacor. You get the first blood. You're feeling pretty happy if you're Fear. But Tavo's able to get so much speed in this bottom lane. But big DCs from SG.
Yeah, so they're having some frame drop issues. So hopefully they're okay. By the way, I finally figured out why I wasn't able to see people call GG for some reason yesterday. It turns out my social settings updated to where I could only see messages in chat from friends, which included just a couple of the NA players.
Oh, I see.
And I was like, why am I never seeing GG calls from any team? Like, what's going on here?
I was gonna say, are you just toxic? You got them all muted.
Yeah, I literally was like, looking, I was like, do I randomly have people muted? Like, it made no sense. But yeah, good old social settings update. I think that's Valve trying to tell me something.
And just stop talking to people, Ricky.
I don't even play this game. Nah, I mean, I play a little bit now. I got 10k behavior score, man. I'm PMA.
PMA. But this mid lane is starting to be a little bit of a struggle for 40R. It's just that level 2 static link, and Razor's been changed so much. Storm Surge is back to what it used to be, and it doesn't feel the best, but being fast is just good in Dota now. And he's got the Falcon Blade queued up, and it feels like he's just having a really good time. Of course, 40R doesn't care too much. He just wants to get his levels so that way he can sort of make these plays. He really can't do anything up until level 6, but Ro's going to have a sort of a beast time. And again, you have to worry for Costa Bile a little bit.
Yep, exactly. I'm excited to see how this Razor does into the troll matchup, because it's one of those things where, like, on paper, it's such a good troll game, right? As long as he can just tank up a little bit, get an early BKB, I see Razor being kind of almost like this unstoppable force, right? He just kind of runs in with this Tidehunter, and Jug follows him, and there's not much anyone can do to stop him.
And we'll really have to see how SG decide to engage after that point, because Rua, he's going to be patient. He's going to not cast his static link as long as possible. He's going to wait for the troll to show up. So SG need to either end the fight before that happens or risk getting kited into the Razor. And it's something that's really scary. It's almost a kill everybody but the Razor, or try and disengage and come back after the link is over, because it's just that debilitating. That's why they've sort of forced this Void Spirit into this position. And I don't know how I feel about the Void Spirit 4. I know Taiga plays it an incredible amount. He loves playing it pretty much every single game I see. I see him in a pub and I see him on Void Spirit. I see him play 6 or 7 games a day on it. And it feels okay. You're able to creep cut the waves. You don't have the best base armor. You're able to get range CS with that Aether Remnant. And if anything, this top lane, it's been a little bit quiet, but he's got the same CS as Fear. And again, we see Z-Freak and Snaking sort of do this thing where they trade off the lane every once in a while. Z-Freak's able to get a lot more XP than we see some of these other fours, just because Snaking knows he needs to block the small camp, he needs to stop the pulls, and then the XP is going to come his way eventually. But see, even the Penta Ace players are getting sort of sick of the DCs.
Yeah, it looks like had to restart the computer completely. That's an oof. PCs are overheating. Yeah, that's not good.
There's a toasty 21 degrees, of course, F in where I am right now. So my hands are frigid. So PC is sitting at a cool 50C as well.
Good old Imperial. So wait. It's 21 degrees Fahrenheit where you are?
Yep.
Oh, that's a yikes. Yeah,
It's quite windy. I think it's like 16-mile-per-hour winds as well. It's a little bit. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're chilling at a nice 81 degrees out here. No big. I have the AC turned on right now. It's, you know, one of those.
That is too good.
It's just the weather. Weather's crazy across the United States. It's just so big.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I mean, we were in like the low 40s into like last week we had a cold front come through. It was like low 40s, and now we're just chilling and hit the 80 degrees like 4 days later. Makes a lot of sense.
No, I'm no linguist, but it looks like Theliacore is unable to reconnect because he's getting packet loss, something like that. He's not able to reconnect to the game currently, and that's quite unfortunate. But here's hoping they can figure that out. I mean, that would suck if they would have to remake or any upstanding situations. But okay, he's back. Perfect.
Whew. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not really sure how the admins would step in on that one. Hopefully we don't have to have the admin step in on something like that. I remember there was like a situation in was it the Monster Energy Summit 13? Or it was either Summit 13 or Pro Series 4 we had a situation like that. They had to just remake an entire game. And one of the teams refused to remake and just took the loss instead.
And actually, you see, they got the word. They dewarded it. They were very privy to what was going on, and that's when really it needs to be really careful. And let's see if he gets the luck of the draw on this rune. This rune is so important for... Oh, he got it on 40R. Easy.
Haste rune, yeah, that's very nice. He had the Earth Spirit here to protect it, so he either just like denies the bottom rune or takes it. But yeah, being able to bottle it there on the puck is really strong.
Let me see how massive those rotations. Yeah, Snake King, he's just beating up Costa Bile.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you seeing this? Snake King is just asserting dominance.
Oh, wait a second.
He's gonna lose the courier. He did go for the first item, Javelin, which we see against the Tidehunter actually pretty often now.
Well, and this is the issue. You have to sort of get your puck these runes so consistently, and while they were able to get a little bit of that small pull off, Snaking's just bullying Costabile, and you're right, when he has the Javelin, when he gets his level 6, there will be a little bit of a threat, but Snaking, he's such a master of Tidehunter. It's sort of funny to see, because Tide definitely isn't the flashiest hero, but he's just constantly running at you, and look at Costabile. He's just getting clicks.
Yeah, he makes it work better than almost anyone. He really does. The way he itemizes, the way he plays him in the lane, like he does do it absolutely perfectly. Top lane 40R using that haste rune to grab both bounties, and he's gonna try and go for the kill here onto the Void Spirit. Z-Freak, no mana left. 3 stick charges though. He's gonna be able to wiggle his way under the tower. And bottom lane, Fear.
Bottom, yeah.
Fallen low as well. He is gonna be able to make it out alive, but with Moo's rotation, there's gonna be the Coconut, the Maledict. Couple auto attacks to the core, just forced to TP immediately.
You see, it wasn't even the completed Orb of Corrosion. It's just that Uv. I think Fear had to spin defensively, so that was the go after the go. And still that level 2 spin, it doesn't feel great. So it's a very, very long cooldown. And those are the forcing plays you need to make. Little Snay.
Yeah, he's also fallen low in the top lane. Stroke of Fate comes out to finish him off from KJ. Well done. That was just a level 1 stroke. That actually looked like... I thought for sure he was going to survive that, but turns out it's just enough damage.
And he had 2 stick. I think his stick was on cooldown, though. He had a big one before, and fortunately, he does have this massive creep wave. He will just TP in and be able to most likely pop his level 5 halfway to level 6. So, again, these deaths, they don't matter too much for these offlaners. It really just doesn't feel all that bad.
Z-Freak just constantly harassing KJ on this Grimstroke. I mean, there's nowhere that he can really go. He's got these Orb of Venom boots. I'm surprised. Oh, he saw the puck rotating. Okay, yeah, he's gonna leave now. But a lot of damage on over to the Grimstroke.
And they need to be careful with Snaking. He's getting close to that level 6, and that's when we're going to see these sort of small leads come into effect, where whoever hits level 6 first is going to want to make the aggressive play, but I don't know if they know about Theliacore.
They definitely don't. They have not seen him yet. They're going to go for the kill here.
Oh, boy.
Stroke of Fate out. Remnant will maybe make him the space. It doesn't just in time, and Snaking, since he's not level 6 yet, can't really assist with the Ravage, and they'll take down that kill, but here comes Roya. Big plasma field just immediately zaps down that Grimstroke through the core, going for the TP out. He will make it. But now they're going to push top.
And there isn't much you can do. You don't want to bring your Pango yet, even though he is level 6. He wants to stay in his lane just a little bit longer, especially seeing the Witch Doctor mid. And I think they need to be careful of 40R if he does want to make a rotation to the top lane. And Pangos might stop showing in a second here, and we'll see if they decide to play in these heroes.
Ooh, 40R lane. Yeah, beautiful play by 40R. Finds Moo. He's just so strong. He's got so much magic damage on this puck right now, like you talked about. That's one of the strengths of SG's lineup, is just the amount of magic damage that they have. And they're going to try and fight here. Pango is TPing in, will have Rolling Thunder, but Costabile getting chased by Ryoya, but a beautiful disarm and the slows, the boulder on the mark. Snaking, he's got the Ravage, but he's not going to get a chance to use it here as Tavo just chasing him down. He's pump faking. Yeah, he doesn't want to commit the Ravage. I think he realizes if he Ravages, it's a pretty low chance that he gets the kill onto the Troll Warlord there.
And 40R TP's out mid as well, and if anything, I was a little bit worried there. I wasn't sure if they had enough gas in the tank to be able to fight those heroes, but with the rotation of the Pango, it was just seamless. And 40R, he was able to get that kill mid. I was worried if they didn't have the puck there, if that would have gone south, if he did decide to commit that Ravage, but again, you don't want to be forced to use your tools defensively. You don't want to be forced to even get those small trades, because we see it's the threat of Ravage almost as important as the actual Ravage, where you can make a play on these towers at the 10-minute mark, and if you used it there, they wouldn't have it for that timing.
Possessed Mask drop there. I think Fear is very happy to see that. One of the best items you can see on almost any agi carry in the game. They do keep it on Razor for the time being, but I'd imagine once he finds something like a brooch, I mean, he might take the Iron One tree. It's quite good, but up there's brooch for the other team. All right.
He's just farming so fast. He just farmed a 3-stack of the large with this Falcon Blade. if anything, I think this is the hero that feels the best with Falcon Blade. We've seen Brax try it out on Mars, on Death Prophet. We even see it on Timbersaw a few games. I remember that being the first hero that really anybody decided to buy it on, but it just feels so nice. It has everything that you could possibly want on Razor. It shores up your sort of base damage issues. It shores up the mana regen, as you really just can only farm with Plasma Field, and hopefully they will be able to get this top tower. Yeah, Pure already rotated out. They don't really want to fight over those towers that are already dead. Yeah, Costa Bile.
I mean, yeah, a level 4 Plasma Field is a lot of damage. It is a very large nuke, especially max range. Bottom lane, Void Spirit getting harassed out here by the puck, but Razor's going to find the Illusion Rune. They did trade the tier 1 towers, right? You talked about that. Net worth-wise, almost dead even. Like, actually almost dead even. This game is incredibly close, just a few hundred gold difference here. Roya, however, clearing up a stack in the enemy jungle.
And it's unfortunate to lose out on this, but until you're really, it would have to be your troll had his Maelstrom. He wasn't really going to make that rotation to farm it anyway, but again, we've got snaking. He's sort of baiting here in Theliacore.
4DR walks right in, gets Ravage. Tavo clipped on the backside as well. They take him down so fast, but Tavo's Rolling Thunder going to do some serious work combined with the coil. He can't actually get to Ryoya at the moment. As a result, he has to leave the healing ward from Fear. The MVP there keeping them all topped off.
And he had the swash, but again, he just wasn't able to get in that little corner and able to get that bounce. And now you use both abilities on each side, and it feels like now Penta Ace could sort of make this very seamless rotation to the mid tower, and you got this big watermelon sitting in front. He's standing proud.
Well, a lot of damage coming in, but Z-Freak isn't quite level 6. Once he has level 6, obviously he has a little bit more kill threat, but Catapult falling incredibly low will eventually go down here, and I think it's time to back.
And this is the power of SG's lineup, where it's just the wave clear. And even Costa Bile, we saw all 10 heroes getting involved to defend this mid tower. Just highlights how important it is. But SG, they just have so many tools to push out that wave. It's very difficult for PentAce to ever truly make that rotation, at least until they get a few more items underneath their belt.
Z-Freak getting level 6 in the mid lane. They have Moo's ward online as well. The big pickup here, Troll Lord grabbing his Maelstrom at a pretty decent time too. You know, he has treads completed. Getting that Maelstrom gonna help increase that farm speed quite a bit. But you always got to be wary of this Razor, who now has Boots of Travel, that single point in Storm Surge. I mean, he's just running around at 450 MS.
Oh, it's perfect. Z-Freak actually tried to steal that rune with the Astral Step, saw it was already taken, so they immediately scan and see 40R trying to kill Razor. Otherwise, it would have been a very seamless rotation.
Yeah, there's no vision here in the river at all. They have the one deep ward here in the jungle, and then, of course, just the top lane ward on the high ground. So they, yeah, you're right. It was a really good scan there.
And up until 40R gets his Witchblade, he is sort of missing a lot of that damage. That's why Witchblade was such a game changer for a lot of these int heroes, where you have that supplemental damage to even just kiting out some of these heroes. And I'm surprised it does the same amount of damage regardless of whether or not you're ranged or melee, but it just feels so strong on this hero. And again, we do see the game sort of slowing down as SG, they don't want to fight necessarily, even though Ravage is still on cooldown, but it's coming up, and I don't think either side is really upset with farming, as nobody's really feeding kills anywhere.
They're kind of hunting the top lane, but this ward is giving them so much information. Like, they saw Theliacore for a moment, Costa Bile just sitting there, and as a result, Ryoya is able to just kind of chill. Oh, they do.
Oh, he did?
They make it out. Moo, however, not done. Maldic drops the Death Ward. Yeah, why not? Take that kill every time you can. He even gets the Magnetize, which is a big cooldown.
I'm surprised he used it there instead of just kind of licking his wounds, but I guess they want to wait for Tavo to get his Blink Dagger, and again, it highlights how important the initial jump is. You can see how fast these teams, they immediately get a kill, just a single pickoff, and they're already up on your lane.
Yeah, they are going to TP in that troll. Razor is in the backside, immediately pops that static link, going to chase him down with the Eye of the Storm. They get the coil on the mark, the Rolling Thunder coming through as well. Snaking, he can't do anything to really help at the moment. You lose the Grimstroke coil. Expired Tavo needs to be careful. Rolling Thunder about to expire, and Snaking, the big watermelon, just putting his body in front of everybody, and they can't deal with it.
And that's the issue. And really, he did his job perfect. He immediately found the troll. And that's the call that I was talking about, where you have to decide, are we disengaging? Are we running away? And it almost felt like SG couldn't make the decision fast enough as they used their ultimates in, if anything, sort of a wasted fashion, as they're not able to get onto that backline. They're not able to leverage their troll. And you're always terrified of this Ravage. And Stay just holds it. He doesn't need to pop it, as SG are really mobile. If he does pop it and they get away, it's a big issue for them. But they get a buyback out. ETDota wasn't able to get anything off, and it just feels like they're getting a little bit of a lead here. And yeah, 3k gold lead for PentAce already.
Yeah, Cosplay just found a triple ancient stack, plus bounty and another ancient. So he's going to be very happy about that. Speaking of ETDota though, he's going to go down top lane. Another one going the way of Fear as he's on his way to the Manta as well. Identical item builds almost from these two cores. Cosplay does have the Maelstrom, the Yasha going BKB. The Juggernaut going for the Manta style. I guess he's just not as concerned about going for a BKB this game.
Well, and he's Juggernaut.
Yeah,
so he's always gonna do Juggernaut things. If anything, I'm curious to see if we'll see him go for that sort of early Scotty that we sometimes see versus the Troll Warlord, reduce the healing he gets from his ultimate. At the same time, really, he's immediately working for his BKB, and you don't have an answer for that on SG. It's really just going to be this Blink Dagger coming out from Tavo, and that's where we've seen them not able to make too many plays, as it feels like they're waiting for that. They want to get the good jumps. They don't really want to fight otherwise, and at the same time, Penta Ace, they're eating a lot of your map, and I feel like I've seen this story before where Snake King is just on your side of the map at all times with this Tidehunter. He wants you to come, he wants to fight you, and he's just going to sit here and anchor smash, just be incredibly obnoxious. I feel like he's farmed more enemy camps than some of the cores on SG.
Z-Freak's walking up onto the high ground, gonna get silenced immediately, trying to fight both the supports here, and it just backfires so heavily. He just didn't know there was a ward up there on the high ground. They saw everything coming. Rolling Thunder mid lane committed. Snake King in some trouble. Moo hiding in the trees. They actually don't see him quite yet as he moves his way up onto the high ground. Fear here as well. I mean, if they turn this around
nice
with the
catch.
Ravage, it will catch. And goodbye, Troll and Pango. They even catch the two supports on the backside. And Razor, he is not done. This guy, he's so quick. He's going to continue the chase, try and get on top of the Ear Spirit. But we'll just settle for that mid lane. And they're going to continue the push here. This is the problem going on the Tidehunter, man.
And now, was that an actual 5-man Ravage, or I know it clipped both supports trying to get there, but SG, they just weren't able to make it in time, and if anything, that was a god cast from Moo. He wasn't even able to get the battle trance off.
No,
there's
not at
actually nothing that the Troll could do, and that's the timing they need to be careful of. Once he gets BKB on Troll, then you can start to commit, but at the same time, it's this Razor. As soon as you BKB ulti, he's just gonna immediately link you, and he has a BKB on his way as well. It feels like Penta Ace, they just
have
got
the
the
answers.
counters.
Yeah, they have 'em.
exactly.
I would say, like, I'm thinking about it. I don't know if Puck was actually in that fight at the time, so I don't think the Ravage hit Puck. But, I mean, getting a 4-man Ravage there, just melting both Pango Troll, that's a pretty good way to start a fight. Oh, my favorite item, Bullwhip. This item,
It just feels so good.
It
just feels so good.
It's so good. This item is broken. Like, I don't know how this item has not been nerfed. It is way too good.
It's like you get that item on like Mars or something. You even get it on pretty much every offlaner.
Yeah.
So yeah, Snake King's got it coming out for himself. It just feels so nice.
I played
And
it.
now that he has a Blink Dagger.
Ooh, Void Spirit caught out by the coil. This should be a kill. They don't actually snap the coil, but they got plenty of damage. As I say, I played it on with a Night Stalker recently, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're just running in, you're going incredibly fast. Even you get it on like Weaver, and then you're at 800 move speed all of a sudden. You just
Oh my
whip
gosh.
and then Skikuchi. It just has so many uses, and
It's,
I like the smoke up. I believe
Yeah.
this is Tavo Blink.
They have Blink on Tidehunter, but obviously his Ravage not available for another 30 seconds. He's pretty much out of mana. They're gonna go ahead for the Rolling Thunder. The Chain Suns are there. The Ink Swell on the mark as well. The question is, can you keep ping-ponging this Tidehunter down? They actually kick him the wrong direction. Snake King, he's gonna be able to survive. The Kraken Shell procced, and it allowed him to actually reposition his hero, and then the kick just slightly off the mark as a result.
And this is the issue where you have this Voodoo Restoration, you have this healing ward. If you don't initially burst someone, then they're just going to get healed up pretty much to full, and they're going to smoke and immediately get sort of spotted out by Tavo. They're going to get the immediate D ward, but again, it feels like SG are sort of running out of time. They're not getting the damage on the targets they need, and this kill on ETDota core most likely won't matter too much, but it looks like it's going to be an inevitability.
Ooh.
Oop.
That Remnant's off the mark.
Yeah, he will be able to roll. If he rolls this way, I can't draw because it's paused, but
If you roll
if
towards
he
the tower.
rolls, yeah, if he rolls like northeast, then he should be he should be fine, but we'll see. Remnant's also kind of wonky. I've definitely seen some Remnants that I thought have no chance hitting me definitely clip me.
Yeah. That one's definitely, I mean, based on the direction the Remnant's facing, it's going directly west. So as long as Thelacor rolls towards his tower and doesn't happen to roll into the dissimilate, he should be fine. But it'll be close. It'll be close.
When we'll see, this might even bait SG to show on this mid wave. If Tabo gets a little bit too close after he sees them going on top, he might think he's safe, but they've split up pretty perfectly in Penta Ace. They've got the exact perfect amount of heroes to make kill threaten both sides. Both groups of heroes can definitely punish SG if they do get a little bit comfortable in their seat.
Yeah. You do have Coil cooling down in a couple seconds, and like you said, this is like his Blink Dagger, but snaking smoked up with Blink Ravage is a little bit scarier in my opinion, especially considering you now have that BKB done on Ryoya. And the Troll Warlord, right? Like, he can't show up to fights. He actually can't. He needs to just continue farming. His BKB not yet complete, and even if it was, it doesn't really allow him to do a whole lot.
Well, and with the BKB, oh, wow, a pause warning. That's the first time I've seen that casting. But with Ryoya finishing his BKB, that's going to be the big issue for SG, where you can't take these fights slow anymore. You need to have the damage, you need to get it out quick, and you need to have perfect vision. If you're not able to see where this Razor's coming from, then Kostabile never going to want to fight. He's going to want to continue to dodge, and we've seen he's had a pretty clean game so far, but he hasn't been able to really leverage his hero at all. It's just been this format on SG trying to make plays and him trying to show up late, and that's the only time he can really show up once everything is on the table. And you see what Snake King is going for on this Tidehunter? He's getting Arcane Blink.
Why, dude? There's no way he finishes this. There's no way he finishes this Arcane Blink. All right, we'll take a look back at top lane. See what happens here. Oh.
Nope. He's thinking.
Oh. Okay, you rolled the wrong way. And Thelacor gonna go down here. You know, literally the worst possible case scenario there. Mid lane, they did end up committing here, and there's the Ravage onto 2. The Death Ward comes out. Tavo, so much damage. Maledict on the nose. And I believe that's gonna be another death. 3 end up falling. The exact prediction here. They got a little bit too confident showing the mid lane, and as an
oof, get punished. And you're just able to push these top to it's such a clean play as well, where you're immediately in these positions to start pushing in these towers. And what patience from Snake King on that puck. I was sure that 40R would just jaunt away. There's no way that he's going to get caught up by anything. And he just gets ravaged. He holds it the entire time. He's the most patient player I've ever seen. And if anything, maybe this Arcane Blink is a little stroke of geniuses. Maybe that's the way they kill the puck. You Arcane Blink Ravage and it comes out that little second faster. You won't be able to phase shift it, but we'll see. It's a little bit of a crazy item build from Snake King, if anything.
Yeah, some of you may not know this, but the Arcane Blink actually increases the speed in which Ravage travels. Right? Isn't that how it works? Because it is.
Now, I've never seen it personally. Yeah, it is. It's a cast time thing. It's like with the Sand King Epi or with the SF Ultimate. It's very strange looking, and if he does build it, it will look a little bit odd, but it'll be a very quick Ravage, if anything. And it does reduce the CDR of it, and once the cooldown reduction is that low, it's very scary.
This is the Void Spirit matchup. They try to do what they can to absorb it, but they're turning it around with a huge Rolling Thunder. Move on the backside in some trouble. Swashbuckle there, not to finish him off, but they really want to take down Snake King's Tidehunter. He's doing what he can to try and survive this, but he is surrounded by 4. And eventually he will go down. A great fight there from SG, and they will be able to pressure the mid-tier 1 tower, which somehow is still standing here 21 minutes into the game.
And it's an incredibly clean pickoff. They know that they don't have Ravage. They just got it used on the mid. It wasn't even a smoke up. It was a little bit of a hubris coming out from PentAce to stand there as, again, you don't have the tools. You didn't have that sort of zoning Razor. They saw him in the bot lane, and that's probably when the jump to, or the call to jump was made. And you don't have that healing ward. That's the big reason your heroes are so tanky. You're so hard to kill. And they weren't able to walk out of it this time. In addition to that, maybe it's the level 2 ultimates coming through, but still, it's a very clean fight for SG, and they need to keep on getting these kind of fights. Otherwise, it feels like Penta Ace, they're still in the fast lane right now.
They just want to go fast, man. I mean, it just makes sense. You pick a Razor, you want to go fast. This man hasted under smoke. He also manages to pick up an Essence Ring, which is a big item for Razor. Now, the downside is the mana cost is enormous for him. Mid lane, they found him snaking. He's just, again, putting his body in front of him. Tahoe, oh my gosh. Oh, he's able to catch them with the roll-up into the Rolling Thunder, but Tahoe almost going down, 11 HP, barely surviving, and without the static link, Costabile feels fairly safe here. He pops the BKB. Oh, no. There's going to be the coil. The battle trance, it's all there. They take down Ryoya, and now the Rolling Thunder trying to find this tide. Fear hasn't been able to use this Omni Slash, but they're a little bit afraid to just go back in at all. It's a 2-for-1.
And then all started off with the Yules, and that's the curl up. He was able to get off his ultimate just because of that spell, and again, he used the static link. He wasn't patient enough on Ryoya, and then immediately we see Costabile. The first fight he shows up, he's like, I'm not gonna get linked. I can play Dota. I can finally do something, and again, SG are able to get some very nice trades. They do lose Thalia Core, but again, the cores are gaining some more speed, and that's exactly what needs to happen.
I dig that.
I would like to see, yeah, I think if you're Penta Ace here after that fight, I think they're gonna definitely just wait for their next items and realize, all right, we need to target Troll with the Razor. There's no slowing down on this. He is itemizing for a Shiva's Guard, picking up more armor. Again, this hero, all he has to do is tank up. As long as he doesn't like die in these fights, or he can't get tunneled, I think his game is pretty easy. Tavo barely surviving that last fight, just a sliver of health. The static link expiring at the very last second was a huge win for him as well.
Well, and to keep in mind, that was Penta Ace making an aggressive play. They wanted to do something with Ravage, and usually we see these teams sort of force the Roshan to force teams into them, but again, SG, they're so mobile, they have so much vision on their heroes, and with the items that they're getting, it's pretty scary. Puck's working towards his Ags. That's that timing that is when Puck gets really, really scary as the backline. That's when the Razor has to make a choice. You either stick with the Troll and walk with him and get stunned, or you just have to let go of the Link and... Oh,
a nice silence and the Soulbind onto 2 immediately to start the fight, but the Tidehunter, he can't get Ravage off quite yet. The coil onto them all. Fear will be able to Blade Fairy them down, but you lose the Void Spirit, and now they lose the Tide. A big part of their team fight. The Static Link BKB onto Costabile. He's losing all of his damage, and now Fear, he's got the Omni Slash available, gonna drop that, but it bounces over to KJ on the Grimstroke. Thelacore coming in, trying to absorb what he can. The Death Ward immediately canceled by the roll-up from Tavo, but the fight falling apart for SG Esports. This is an ultra kill for the Razor.
And just a perfect buyback coming in from Z-Freak. He was able to get the control on those heroes. A dieback on Thalia Core as well. And again, I just see them standing under this Voodoo Restoration, tanking up through the damage. And while you lose Snaking, again, you didn't use Ravage. That was a fight where they couldn't get Ravage off because their troll immediately gets linked. He had to pop his ultimate in BKB to make sure that Snake King died. And again, it feels like SG, they weren't patient enough. If anything, this is a game of patience. And if they get a little bit ahead of themselves with their jump, they're feeling a little bit too good after those 2 fights, those 2 pickoffs. And oh no,
they've got another.
Puck.
This is the thing. This is the counter. This is a 4-position hero making this Puck's game like borderline miserable, right? This is why the Void Spirit is so dang good into this hero. You can't play.
And it just feels like that's the theme of Penta Ace's draft. SG's heroes literally can't play versus Penta Ace's heroes. They've got the upper hand in pretty much every matchup, and with these teams immediately into the Roche, there's nothing you can do. You had 4 heroes dead, the map's reset. Costabile is trying to push up bot as fast as he can, and there are just so many obstacles they need to overcome to get a good team fight going for SG. I think if anything, they need to split the lanes and try to get a pickoff going, something along those lines, because at this rate, they can't team fight Penta Ace on any footing.
Now, I know I said there's no way Snake King finishes the Swift Blink, but
I think it's coming on the courier.
Aaron's right out the simply the arcane blink, but it's literally on courier right now. All right, so we will get to see the interaction, hopefully.
It's going to be a very fast Ravage.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Maybe if it catches out the puck once, it's going to be very scary, especially if SG, if they die anywhere near their base. It's those huge teamfight ultis where you're not just losing one hero near your base, you're probably losing 3 or 4, and Penta Ace are just always able to get those very fast punishes. And I feel like Fear, we saw yesterday when Sammy Boy played Jug, there's just no threat. He's afraid of literally no hero with such an early pick Jug, and that's why we see this hero banned a lot of the time. But again, he's having a free game. He's having a very nice time.
Yeah, the only thing he worries about is like the basher from Troll now, but you got the Razor, so you know, who cares at the end of the day. The other core in a little bit of trouble. He gets a first hit bash. The Soulbind is in, snaking. He's pumped, ready to go on the backside, trying to find a target, but the BKB protecting him for the time being. And now Puck, he's just gonna go down. It's a 2-for-1 without even having to Ravage, and Ryoya zoning out Tavo completely once again on this Razor.
Well, now you've used your Pango roll, and that was just him. He jaunted into a Void Remnant again. This Void Spirit is just so good versus the Puck, and you're gonna force the buyback, and again, you're gonna get nothing. You don't have Pango roll. Costabile is not even showing up to fight because he knows there's nothing they can gain. He used his BKB already, and again, it feels like Penta Ace have all of the forcing plays. There's not much they can do, and you see even Fear, he's just farming under reward. He has no cares.
Oh, yeah, he's got the Aegis. He's going for the Aghanim Scepter, gets that level 20, so the Blade Fury DPS is online. He has the talent, of course. So yeah, you're having a pretty great time here if you're the Jug. You're not really afraid of anything. If you get ganked by all 5 heroes here on SG, like, yeah, maybe you're in some trouble, but there is no Axe Coil yet, so you can just go for the Blade Fury and run away, essentially, right? Like, hope that the Troll doesn't perma-bash you down. That's about all you have to worry about.
And once he has this Aghanim Scepter, we talk about it a lot, where it's just such a non-committal hero where you throw up the Swift Slash, really no cares, and see what it brings back. And if you see a really big target, then you might commit the Omni Slash. But it feels so bad because if you get any bash on any hero during Swift Slash, it feels like they're not able to have any effect. They're just stunned. They're bashed. Your Jug is suddenly zoning of all of these heroes. And with the Aghanim Shard already, we saw Theliacore, he tried to pop his Ghost Scepter to survive, and it just doesn't matter. He does so much damage, especially with the level 20, and they're trying to smoke to get the pickoffs, but again, you're just forcing him back to their base. 40R's already shown.
It's for the runes, mainly. Ryoya just walks up onto the high ground. He's going to find a Grimstroke. He's going to go for the TP out. They got the damage, right? Oh! The Razor auto attack animation.
It's that Razor auto attack animation where it does like the damage is a second after it lands, the whip snapback.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit interesting because they don't all commit up onto the high ground there. I mean, if Z-Freak or the Witch Doctor had gone up, obviously they get that kill, but the main thing is I think they were just trying to find a kill before the 30-minute bounties, right? Like, that's what they wanted, is to fight for these bounty runes, and they come all the way bottom, and they're gonna run right into Costabile, and they find the Grimstroke on the backside. Immediately pops his BKB Battle Trance looking for Moo here, but he's so tanky. He's out. They just kited out completely, and Theliacore in the mid lane gonna get caught by all 3 of the big boys. Does get the Magnetize off. They've coiled up the Void Spirit. The Rolling Thunder in from Tavo. You're by yourself, brother. There's going to be the Omni just immediately onto the Pango, and the bashes are there. He cannot escape. Ryoya tried to do what he can to chase him down. Swashbuckles to freedom, but Snaking is here. Blink forward. Give me the Ravage. Just do it, sir. All right, Fear's going to find the kill.
Come on. And it's just these free picks, and you were right, they felt safe. They're running at you so consistently on Penta Ace. They were already set up. It felt like I could circle all these heroes in the top lane for a minute there, and 30 seconds later, they're already running at your triangle, and it feels like Penta Ace just have such a good understanding of how the map should be played. And again, the heals.
There it is, the Arcane Blink Ravage. He's got him. I mean, that's the thing, right? When you have that immediate animation that from the Arcane Blink, as opposed to like kind of that, like you said, it works in the same way the Epicenter does. We don't have the wind up. It reduces it so drastically. So it's almost like getting Blink hoof stomped or Blink called.
Well, and that's even better. It's almost like a Blink Burrow Strike, where that's usually what a Puck is afraid of. You're always afraid of that instant jump, and of course in that case you itemize for a Lincoln Sphere, but there's no way to itemize for a Blink Ravage. It's completely instant.
He just got reclaimed here, but it doesn't look like they're all that afraid. Razor on the backside, he has BKB available if he can get the tether off, but he's just getting permanently stunned, and Costabile able to find a big kill there, and now Fear permanently bashed. There's going to be the Remnant pulling back Costabile. He's got to get out of here, but the Death Ward comes out and they get him. Tavo now super deep into the fight, swashbuckles himself away, and he will be able to make it back to the fountain, but a costly defense here from SG as they get 2 buybacks, and you only get the Razor.
And all goes back to that Ravage where you put this puck on dieback, and while you do lose Ryoya,
look for Tavo
they're just
mid.
gonna keep it going.
Remnants there, the swift slash over. Fear gets another. Godlike spree
If
for him at
anything-
9-0 and
Oh,
11.
there it goes.
Yep, GG's out.
G's already dropped.
I mean,
if
24k
anything-
gold lead, right? It seems like there is no
Yeah.
coming back, right?
And it's incredibly hard to itemize for this arcane link for this jump that you don't really see coming, so I don't blame 40R at all for losing his life there, but still, it feels unfortunate. They just got a little bit too ahead in the draft, and we talked about it. They could have gone for a bunch of different avenues on PentAce, but having that last pick, SG, they left a big hole in their draft, and even though on paper their lineup it's very good, the 4-men of SG just weren't able to get enough speed under their feet. They weren't able to keep the snowball going, and again, I think that SG can still bounce back. It's very characteristic to the games they played before, where it's a 28-15. Maybe SG are going to do the same to PentAce in the next game, but they need to shore up the draft. We've seen PentAce, we've seen a lot of the NA teams sort of out drafting the SA teams as they just value these heroes so much on these SA teams. You have to be really careful versus Penta Ace. They're tricky. They've got a lot of cards up their sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, they played a great 2-0 series on the first day of the playoffs, and they come out strong today as well. I mean, SG Esports, one of the best teams in South America. They took 3rd place in the SADPC, just behind Beast Coast and Thunder Predator. And I mean, Penta Ace made it almost look easy. And like you said, a lot of it comes back to the draft, where they're just so prepared for everything that you throw at them. Snake King's Tidehunter, Fear's Jug, both picked fairly early in the draft, and they didn't really care. Like there was nothing you could really do to shut these guys down. So I'd expect maybe we see a Respect Man onto the Tide. Honestly, you had what you thought would be a potentially favorable matchup, and look at Snake King at the end of the day, able to just get so much out of it and make so much space. The last pick, Razor, chef's kiss. That was absolutely perfect. It just rounded out the lineup so good, and there's just no answer from SG Esports at that point. But it is only game 1, right? It is a best of 3 series. It's an elimination game. So we do have game 2 coming up in a moment. ET, before we go, any other thoughts? Any final, any things that SG could do here in game 2 to try and have a better shot?
Well, they did what I wanted them to do. They got Tavo on, again, one of his best tiers, level 20 Platinum Star. He is one of the best offlaners in his region as well. They need to leverage his game. And maybe Thilicore, first game of the day, maybe they're having some FPS lag. If anything, I'd blame that, if anything, because I want SG to win. I want them to bounce back. I want to see what they're capable of, because they've shown it several times before, how strong individually these players are. And I hope we get a better showing in game 2.
Right on. All right, everyone, stay tuned for game number 2 here. SG Esports versus Penta Ace on the BTS Pro Series 5. We'll be right back.